Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Friday. So I'm going to go into crankbait colors anytime you're deeper than, let's say, 3 or 4 feet. So 3 or 4 feet can be a lot of different colors because that can be a cranking zone where you're in super dirty water. We'll get a little bit deeper where you need at least a foot to a foot and a half of visibility. That's that 4 to 8 foot range, and most lakes have that water clarity in them. Now I'm going to go into not specific color crankbaits, but I'm just going to grab a couple crankbaits and I'm going to say this color on this crankbait means this and this and that. So guys, I want to thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. That really helps me and the channel out a lot. And let's jump into these different crankbaits and what they mean to me in the colors. So we'll start kind of like this time of year. We're in the wintry fall type. And for me, it is all about shad patterns. So if I am going to throw a crankbait in the fall time, it is going to resemble shad and not bright yellow shad. It's going to be your natural colors, your translucent colors if it's a plastic bait, and then your grays, your most natural in the clear lake. So this one, it's got scale patterns on it. It's nothing about this really sticks out. A one red line, one little yellow line, and that's it. This is about as natural and as real as you can get on a crankbait. This is going to be in my lakes that have 2 feet of visibility. And then in lakes, they can have good amount of visibility, but more of your stained, your tannic water rather, your greens. That is going to be a little darker blue, a little brighter yellow. Still try to keep it pretty natural because, again, we're in relatively clear water anytime I'm cranking deeper than 4 feet. That's going to be my off-color, little bit stained water option. Not to say that this wouldn't work in that. Now, as we get into the spring, the flowers are blooming. Leaves are coming back on the trees. Everything is a little bit brighter. All the forage is going to play in the springtime. You know, we go back to the fall, we know it's about shad. As we get into the springtime, I'm going to open the tackle box up a little bit more, and I'm going to go into my reds. Now, this is important because I feel like you have a more natural color red. Anytime you add dark green to a bait, that's going to make it more natural. Now, if you're going to try to natural up your crankbait, the biggest part rather, of the crankbait that the fish sees is the back. I mean, this thing is down on the bottom. So if you want to make your crankbait more natural, you have to just worry about the back. You can leave the bottom that they don't hardly see a whole lot, orange and bright as this one. This is going to be more of a cloudy condition. This is a springtime crankbait for me only, and it's more of a cloudy, low visibility, low light. Can be a clear water bait because you're still imitating a natural color, but it's very bright, so I'm going to use this on foggy, cloudy, low light days. If I have high sun, but I still think the fish are keying in on brighter color stuff, I will just add a little dark green. That's going to help this bait be a little bit more natural, but still, when it's twisting and turning down there, it's still giving off that bright, whatever it is imitating. Now, Chartreuse color crankbaits. I don't have my hot mustard, but here is a perch. This is a bait that is going to work in tannic colored water. You know, lakes where fire tiger, you know, that brown tea stain colored water still has a good amount of visibility. It's just tannic because of all the tannins in the water. This is your bright yellows, your bright greens. I don't fish a lake like that a whole lot, so you can see there's very little teeth marks on this bait. I don't know if I've ever caught a fish on this bait. I know it would work on the tannic colored lakes that are down in Florida and stuff like that, because I know I've caught a lot of fish down there on fire tiger, and this is very similar to fire tiger. But this is going to be tannic colored water. Now, if I want to catch bass on a green stain like Gunnersville, I'm going to go hot mustard, which I don't have a color, but that's just brown back Chartreuse. So as I talked about this earlier with the red crankbaits, I'm just making this crankbait more natural by adding brown to the back. So it'll be a brown back with the Chartreuse. So the fish is mostly seeing that natural brown color on top, You know, they're looking at it from this way, and then as it turns, they're getting little glimpses of chartreuse. But for the most part, when you think of a crankbait, the back is what is the most important. So your natural colors like your dark greens, your browns, or your really natural, low, you know, not bright, dull colors like this gray, that's what the fish is seeing. They'll get the little glimpses of the white or the matte white, whatever you want to call that, cream or whatever. But most of the time they're looking at the back. So the back is the most important part of a crankbait when you're cranking a little bit clearer colored water. And you will see if you get into really dirty, shallow water, black backs, brown backs with chartreuse, those are going to be your better colors if you're in dirtier water. But that is my 4 to 8 foot, a little bit clearer water. In a crankbait, as you can see, I have a lot more colors in crankbaits than I do in jigs because my odds of finding a cranking bite a lot better than my odds of finding a jig bite. So I don't keep it necessarily as simple as I do with a jig, 2 or 3 colors. I've opened up my tackle box a little bit more, 4 or 5 colors, but still I try to keep it simple. If they're not eating something yellow, it's springtime, they're not eating something red or orange, then I can move to a shad. And a shad imitator is just a safe bet all the time. So 12 months out of the year, there are minnows jumping around in your lake, there are shad to be eaten, and that is going to be a really good place to start. But you always want to keep the odds in your favor. Don't stray too far out of the box. You know, in the fall time when you know they're feeding on shad, don't be busting out your yellows and your greens and all these different colors. Keep it as simple as you possibly can. Keep the odds in your favor. Try that. Good luck to you guys, and I'll see you on the water.